in the filler.
We'll just switch it to me, so it's not on you. Or you don't have any fancy titles. You said
Well, I do. I just have to
like our intro, our thumbnail.
We're
Hello, are we live?
live.
Hi, we're live. We did it. We did it. We're not on the screen right now, but we're live.
We're live now.
We're live, but it's that Instagram shot is only the center, which is like right here.
Well, it'll be. This is you. Say hi.
Hi, you guys. It's been a while. It's been a while. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. If it's the first time, we are back. We took was it just a 2-week break, or was it 3 weeks? I think it was. I think
it's been like 3 weeks.
We planned for 2 weeks off because we had other things going on.
And then,
but then you got sick, so we
Yes.
ended up taking 3 weeks. I'm gonna adjust this real quick. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wouldn't adjust
Talk.
that. It
Talk.
is what it is.
Talk.
It's careful. It's steady.
Talk.
Steady.
Don't talk about what I'm doing. Talk about something different.
Well,
Distract them.
you got me distracted. The intention was to distract them, but you're distracting me.
Great. Okay. There we go. That's what I wanted.
Steady, girl.
Great.
Steady.
So, yeah, people are hooked now. Now that we've had that interesting conversation, dude, we're back.
We're back.
We're back, and things are good. We went away. We went away for a camp weekend, and then what was the other thing we did?
Yeah, I was sick.
We had stuff going on, and then you were sick on that third week,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just here. We are. We're back.
Life has been insane, and to uphold a podcast at the same time is almost impossible.
You know what's ironic is in my podcast ideas notes, I wrote down, let's talk about burnout. And then we just never came back for like 3 weeks.
Well, it's one thing too, is once you stop doing it, you get out of the rhythm of like, all right, today's the setup and let's do this and let's process it. And it's on your mind. And it's like, let's do it.
And it was on my mind all the time. And I'm not going to lie, for like a little while, I was like, oh man, like podcast, like every week, it's like, feels like a lot. But after only 2 weeks away, even after the first week away, I was like, oh, I don't like missing it. I don't like missing it. I want to get back to it, you know?
Gotta go back.
Gotta get back.
Gotta go back.
Gotta get back there.
So one thing I kind of titled this to start the first shower thought. We don't got titles today, so we're doing it real rough.
We're roughing it.
Roughing it. We're back.
We're here. We're so you know what? It's a lot of work to set this up, and Jeremiah may have forgotten how much time and effort. It's because we tore everything down for those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then so usually it's like we have most of it set up, and then it's just pull out a couple things to get it going for every Tuesday. But we put everything away because we were going to be gone, and we were having guests over and all these things. So we were like, we're going to shive everything away. Took a long time to get it out. Not everything made it. We're less fancy today, but it's fine.
Just this much. So the first thing I want to talk about is our shower thought.
Shower thought.
Shower thought is this week is the man flu.
Flu.
Well, not just man flu, but what do you do when your spouse is sick?
Do you think they can hear the rain?
No.
Okay.
If they can, it's a serenity behind them.
Also, I'm not trying to brag, but this like cockatoo thing I have going on is killer. And you're jealous, and that's okay. I have like I see it. You see it, and I see it.
Yeah,
and I just
it's kind of like a what's those feathers they adorn themselves with?
Who adorns themselves? A person?
The fantasy characters I play.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what that.
Yeah, don't do that. Anyway,
okay. You're talking about video games.
Yes, video games.
Yeah. When you just say the fantasy characters I play, the normal people in the world don't really understand what you mean by that. And
I don't play dress up and adorn myself with feathers.
Why not?
Because
you could. I wouldn't mind.
I would mind. Weird. Anyway, what do you do when your spouse is sick? I want to talk about that.
Why don't you answer that first? So, when your spouse is sick, what do you do? What do you change about your life?
My life looks very much the same.
does it.
So when my spouse is sick, we learned early on that I don't handle sickness well.
Like when you don't handle when I'm sick well? Or,
yeah. Like
yeah.
I have a tough time when you're sick, like emotionally, physically, and I know
spiritually, emotionally, mentally.
Oh, Tori's here.
Tori, hi! I'm so glad you're here. What'd she say?
Can't hear the rain.
Oh, excellent. But you are, but here.
But you two are 100.
Oh. Thanks, Tor. So are you.
So I learned to love my spouse, try to learn to love my spouse well by calling in the troops for people to help and assist me because I need a lot of help. I take care of her.
When your wife is sick.
Because she does a lot at home. That's the thing about it is that I should do more at home, but I don't. And when you're down,
the whole home is
down.
Is down.
It's not like just you're down.
You know what it is? Let me just to defend you a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you do a lot outside the home. You could do more in the home. I don't mind. But you do a lot outside the home. And you know what I like is that I think it makes you appreciate how much I do when I'm not doing it. Like in a good way. And you do step up. Like you do fill in the gaps.
Yeah, I take care of the kids.
I'm down.
I make sure the kids are barely alive. Like they're getting fed nachos.
Like it might be nachos straight out of a big tray, troughing it
every day.
Movies.
They're
all
getting
night.
to school on time. There's movies. It's like a vacation when mom's sick. Actually, like the kids get to have a vacation while mom's sick.
Okay.
But we'll explain to them what happens to me when I get sick.
Yeah. Well, when you get sick, excuse me. When you get sick, not a lot in my daily life changes. And here's the funny thing. Like only when I'm sick, only when I'm extremely ill do many things change. And I feel like it's like a very small handful of times in our marriage where I've been down and out, other than like childbirth recovery, things like that. But like when I've like when I got really sick and I was like in bed for 3 days or things like, or if I have a day of the flu or whatever it is, it's not that often. My usual sicknesses like colds and stuff, my life doesn't change super much.
Yeah.
I'm a little more drowsy, a little more foggy maybe, but things still need to happen, right? The wheels still got to turn. Someone's driving this bus and it's me.
And you do drive that bus well.
And
very well.
So my typical sickness, not a whole lot changes on my end usually. When you get sick,
yeah, I'm sick. I'm down.
You are down.
I'm down.
You're gone.
But okay,
you're no one's home. The lights are on. No one's home.
I'm basically yes.
You get the man flu.
So explain what's your terms of the man flu?
Okay, here's my definition of the man flu. The man flu is basically that you and I could have the exact same symptoms, but you handle it as though the end is near, and I handle it like still driving the bus. That's the definition of man flu. Like, how does a woman handle these symptoms and how does a man handle these symptoms? And that's not like, that's a big generalization. Obviously, like all people are just different regardless, like man or woman. Yeah. Like people just handle sickness differently. But generally, it's this ongoing joke. Like online, that all men, when they become sick, are like, I can't do anything.
Well,
I'm dying.
Well, partly I feel bad because this is the thing. How often do I get sick versus you get sick?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I feel like I get at least 70% less sick than all of you guys.
70%
less sick.
But
70%.
When you are 100% down and out.
That's exactly true.
What does she say?
She says, it seems like the threshold for husbands for being down and way out is such way lower.
Oh, yes. Your threshold is much lower. That's a good way to put it. Thank you, Tori. The threshold is lower. Yeah. And also I will come to the defense of like, I think that naturally Sometimes, be careful. I don't want to be sweeping generalizations. Sometimes women have a higher tolerance for pain. And I think that goes because
I wouldn't say that's sometimes. I think that's most times.
But I mean, yeah, like a higher tolerance for discomfort. And I mean, women have periods, women go through pregnancy, women go through all these things that it's like in my regular life, I have to continue my day as though nothing is wrong, regardless of what's happening with my body. Like that's like a standard of women in general. Mm-hmm. And so for a man to have an ailment, it's like you were like, what is happening to me? Something is terribly wrong.
Well, and I feel like I have to vocalize. So something we learned, we just turned out, is that we want to go this route. And it might be a tip to save you guys in your marriage, in your couples, and you taking care of. So this could be a life-changing tip. So listen up.
But you got to be on board.
You got to be on board. All aboard.
You got to go into it.
So we call this one Captain's Log. So why did Captain Log come up?
Let me tell you why it came up.
Well,
you want to tell them why it came up?
I have a necessity to make sure that my wife knows that I'm not faking it. That I'm not calling it sick. I'm not calling in I'm not calling hooky off of school or whatever it may be. I'm trying to communicate that I'm feeling things that are real.
So to be fair,
and I don't feel like my wife believes me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The reason you feel like you have to constantly talk about your symptoms and what you're feeling and prove and validate what you're going through, I think is because I have gotten frustrated at you in the past for having man flu, for what I consider it's literally just congestion, a headache, maybe a cough, and you are bewildered and laying down in the bed as though everything is over.
But to my justice, my body is like a well-oiled machine. I get up at 5:30. I go to the gym. I get after it every single day. So the second where I'm not able to lift the amount of weight I need to lift or do the things I need to do, something's off.
Right. So I agree. I see where you're coming from. However, in the past, I have found myself becoming irritated at the idea that you cannot simply make do and move on and get the things done you need to do, when if I had the same symptoms, I would just be like, yep, pop some Advil, take some Dayquil, go make breakfast.
Absolutely.
So when you were just sick this past week, you and every time you get ill, you have this need, you constantly need to, if it's more extreme, this last sickness you had was more extreme.
Yeah.
So because of the times when you've had something that I would consider more minor, when you do have something more serious, you have this need to constantly verbalize there really is something really wrong. And every single time that you had any kind of development, rather than just being thinking to myself, I feel a lot of pain right now, I'm gonna go get some Advil or something, you would be like, oh, it hurts, I'm in so much pain, oh, the pain has moved now, it's my head, oh, what is happening? And it's just this thing that I became quickly more irritated by that than even you just laying in the bed. So I gave you this tip. I said, Jeremiah, if you have to verbalize every single thing you're feeling, you have to start it with the words Captain's Log. And
Captain's Log. New symptom. Head hurts and aches. And I don't know why. Can someone tell me? I may need Advil.
Over. I was like, you have to say Captain's Log, and you have to, and he got so into character, you guys. He was so into it. He was like, Captain's Log. I'm sitting outside now. The sunlight is really helping alleviate some of my symptoms. If only there could be a new dawn tomorrow as well. We'll see if I can return for a new entry. Over.
Captain's Log. I don't know if I'm gonna make it another minute.
Because, and the funny thing is, I said, anytime you want to say something to me, you have to say captain's log first. And then he started the amount of times, the sheer volume, the quantity, the number of times that Jeremiah had to verbally speak out his symptoms, because it wasn't enough to just be sick and go rest. He had to say it out loud every time.
Well, I want to include her on my sickness journey.
I didn't ask. I didn't need. I was already caring for you, for
Bobby
the
says
kids. Hi.
Hey,
sis.
Bobby, who does Matt get the man flu, or do you get the man flu?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like,
I think
maybe it's a Trujillo thing.
because yes, Bobby is your sister, and Bobby and Matt have so many like typical role reversal like things, like
Yeah.
whatever the typical role would be of like a woman or wife and a husband. I notice a lot of things are like flip-flopped with them because something is just wrong with Trujillo's.
Yes. So, Bobby,
love
let
you,
us know.
Bobby. I
Let us
love you.
know. Oh, I get it. He definitely gets it.
I
knew
get it.
I called it.
She
I
gets
called
it.
it.
Man flu. I'm not surprised that, but
Yes.
she's like you in that she's incredibly consistent with her moving her body,
Yes.
eating clean, and
So when your body retaliates, it
she
retaliates
has a
hard.
well-oiled machine.
Now, Bobby, do you okay, say when I get sick, I say, "This is it. This is how the Lord is taking
This
me."
is how the Lord is taking me.
So next time
That's you.
next time you have to verbally say your signs or anything like that, add captain's log.
Yeah,
and see if
Bobby, try it. Try it in front of Matt. Just go up to Matt and just be like, "Captain's log. I believe this is the end. The end is near. When I meet Jesus as he swings that chariot so low, I shall pray for you on my way up. Over." Just try it.
just try it.
What did she say? But I never get sick.
Yeah.
So,
See,
yeah.
I probably get sick. I
Get sick
probably three. I
less.
say 3 times a year. Last year,
Yeah,
3.
that sounds right.
Yeah. And this was the longest I've been sick for a
Mhm.
long time. So that is to say, that is the tip that may or may not.
That's our shower thought.
Yeah.
Take this away. Shower thought, captain's log when your spouse is sick.
You could
take
probably
it.
do it with anything.
Yeah. Oh, should I do that every time? Every time that I do a task in the house that you don't have to worry about because
Yes.
because I do it, should I be like, captain's log? I did a load of laundry for you today. Washed and dried and sorted. All you had to do was put it in your drawers. Captain's log. He still hasn't put the laundry in his drawers.
Question. Oh, question.
Ooh.
Who in general? Okay, maybe you should read this out. I'll put it up on the screen.
Oh yeah, make it bigger. I'll read. Tori's writing in with we have an urgent question being written in. Who in general do you think share ailments more, men or women? Do you guys talk about their physical problems with each other? Girls don't really share that much about our physical pains when we hang out. Like when girls are hanging out with other girls. Is that it? There's a comma. Is that the end?
That's the end.
Okay.
Like, oh, it says this right here. Yeah, like, do you guys talk about their physical problems with each other? Oh, I get what you're saying. I think that has where do we go?
Gone.
That has somewhat to do with it. I feel like because we can't verbalize our pain with other guys because we're tough.
Oh, you feel like you can't.
yes,
that
and
makes
so I've been
sense.
able to come to you and say,
So you have to let it out somewhere.
yes.
And also, okay, here's like another note. I agree with that. I think that men probably talk a lot less about any kind of physical pain with other men because like then you're not a man, right?
Wait, do women talk about physical pain a lot?
Well, Tori said women don't really, I think in her comment. And I would say
But they're more open about it.
Yeah, we talk about everything though. I would say we talk about everything in equal measure.
Like women cry more, right? Like is that I know it's okay, like that's general. Like I'm not saying general, but like you're emotional.
I would say girls
the cultural norm,
together cry together more than men cry with other men together.
I would agree.
I think that that's
I don't
a
think
fair statement.
Yeah, I don't think I'm crossing any boundaries by saying that.
No, I
women
think
cry.
that in general, when women are together, they would be more likely to cry together than men crying together.
Yeah.
But here's the
Says-
thing.
Wait. She says, "Ooh, says
Interesting.
Like, do you guys talk about the physical issues with each other? The only physical issues that we truly do talk about is I lifted too much or I hurt myself lifting. Like,
Did you see how far back my eyes rolled?
like
They
the
were-
only physical pain that we actually talk about is like, yeah, we really went on a
just
hard
so-
run and
way
I'm
too
sore.
hard, yeah,
My legs are
so-
sore from the workout.
I just like squatted like way too many
Yeah.
squats today. You know, my dumbbells were just like so heavy. It's so hard. Oh, so sore.
carrying this family
Can't
on
even-
my back. So I would say that's the pain. That's the pain we talk about.
I think
We
that
don't talk about the deep emotional pain that we feel when we get the sniffles.
no. But this is the thing. You know what? One of my favorite topics is childbirth. One of my favorite topics ever is childbirth and hearing people's birth stories
Yeah.
and sharing my birth stories. And I love that.
Yeah, Bobby has the same thing with Matt. I don't want to hear. I hear
Let's
what you're
hear it,
saying. He
let's
says Matt complains about the pain to me all the time. So Matt does the same thing to Bobby.
Oh, what did she say?
Put him on
again?
blast, and I'm like, suck it up.
Oh, so when Matt, but that's funny. So they both do it to each other. They both are men. They both get the man flu, and then she.
No, but Matt, I feel like maybe. I don't
Oh, so here's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Here's what I was gonna say is that with other, like with women with other women, men with other men, like that's a whole thing. However, like men with women, like specifically Beverly spouses, I think that it's probably pretty equal. Well, for us,
Yeah.
we talk a lot about everything. I think it's pretty equal who shares what with who. Like I
yeah.
wouldn't
Do
say
you feel like we try to be vulnerable with you,
who's we.
men? Like I try to be like, it's kind of I'm vulnerable.
No,
is
you
what
know
I'm
what it is? What it is probably some forms of like codependency and laziness. And I mean that for both of us, like genuinely, because here's this funny thing I saw online.
Yeah.
That's 100% true. It's like me walking in the house when my husband's not home and it's like baby on the hip, 4 grocery bags on this side. I got my Stanley cup. I got my keys. I've got like everything, the package on Amazon. I like everything is in my arms and I get in the door. And when husband is home, it's like you walk in with like your purse and you're like, help me. I need help with stuff. Like come and help me carry things. Because why would I carry everything when I have a man around? Like 100%. Why would I exert myself beyond what I need to?
Mm.
And I totally like, can I do it? Obviously I can, but like, do I have to? No, I'm married. Why would I have to do that?
Yeah. I think
Like,
there's
you know?
teamwork in that too, right?
And it's like when I'm alone,
yeah,
I
if
get
you're
it done.
alone and you get,
And you do the same thing.
well, yeah, if you're alone and stub your toe, you're like,
And like it's kind of one of
But
those
when you're
when,
alone,
when
you
I'm
still-
there, you're like,
you're like,
oh,
son of a-
help me, please, somebody coming over. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what happens. And like, and it's funny because like that's kind of why when you ask me, sometimes when you ask me like a lot of questions, like whether it's about cooking or like putting something away or whatever, I try to say to you, I've said to you before, what do I say to you? Do what you would do if I wasn't here. Because I know that that's a thing that I need to do. Like sometimes I have to
Okay,
just
but
like,
to my benefit, my wife food skills and her taste in food are always the best. And so
that's really nice of you. However, it's not an excuse not to try. It's like saying,
I'll
honey,
try from now
I
on."
could never make scrambled eggs as good as you. You have to
honey,
make them
I
for
can
me
make a
every
good
morning.
I'm not asking you
You
to make
have to- I
I'm
just
talking
couldn't-
about like
Couldn't
homemade baking.
possibly do it as
her realm
good
of
as you
food.
can.
I'm just saying.
You have to do it for me because I
ha-
couldn't do it
no,
as good as
I'm not-
you.
I can cook.
It's weaponized incompetence.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this right.
'Kay.
I know how to make eggs and pancakes and all the
Nobody's
normal
asking
stuff.
you to list what you
No,
can and
but
can't
you
do.
make it seem like I can't make the basic. I'm talking about like baking cookies or doing the special things that
No.
you do.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
okay, Tori says this. I'm 100% weaker when Andrew's home.
Oh, 100%. Fully. Like, I forgot everything. My husband is here. Like, what do I, help me? I can't even get off the couch when my husband's in the same room as me. I'm always like, help me. Like, every time. I can't get up off the floor if my husband's next to me. I need help. Somebody
That's
help
why,
me.
That's why I work out.
It's like, it's just how it is.
It is.
Totally.
Well, I think that
That's a good, like,
That's
that was a
good.
nice long shower thought.
yes. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Let's see what my sister. I'll post this one. So.
Okay. Let's see. I'll read it. She says, I am so like Jeremiah. Yeah, we know, Bobby. I pretend I don't know how to do things because I don't want to add that to my brain. I just want to not have to learn things that he can do. I think there's a certain amount of fairness to that. Like if there's something that you always do, like could I learn? Obviously I could. If I had to, if it was like learn this or it won't get done, like obviously I would learn it.
Yeah.
But if you're around and you're going to do it, like don't make me think about that.
Yeah.
I would say that that's a true thing about you and your sister, and also I think that probably most wives have
Yeah.
that similar mindset.
And maybe what tactics do you guys do to overcome that, or is it something to overcome? Is this a cross to bear to the day?
It's
You're
just
that's
the
why
way
they
it
say.
is.
You know what? That's probably why they say in sickness or in health, specifically for the men. I'm gonna use that. If I marry someone, I'm gonna use that one. That's
Next
a
time
good
you
one.
officiate, that means you men.
That means you in sickness and in health. Oh.
That's funny. Okay, so are we landing the plane on the shower thought? Landing the plane. That was a great discussion. Thank you guys for your questions. It was lovely.
What do you have
okay.
next for us?
You do the whole like tiny takeaway transition.
Oh, we're not doing like a cultural minute. We don't really know anything cultural.
I don't know
going on
anything
right now.
cultural.
You know, I do know some things cultural, like we saw the Oscars, which I thought were kind of a letdown.
I was let down by the Oscars.
Yeah, that's old news. But did you guys see? Okay, real quick, if anyone's watching, here's my question for y'all. She has a question for us.
Okay.
Here's my question for y'all. Here we go.
One thing you can. Here's my question. What's one thing you can work on to be better tomorrow? In general, in marriage, in all the things? Better tomorrow. That's a good it's a good podcast name. Good band name.
Better tomorrow.
Better tomorrow.
Not today. Tomorrow.
No. Who has time to be better today? That's a good question. What do you think?
What's one thing you can work on to be better tomorrow?
Good question.
The first thing that comes to mind is patience. Having more patience. Especially because we're in the season of our children are constantly screaming and fighting. And then I constantly scream and fight. And it's how do I overcome that?
What's the thing you could work on? Like, I think she wants you to say like a specific action step. Like to be like not to just like what's something you need to work on in your life in general. She's saying like how can you be better tomorrow? Like what's your action step? Because I was thinking the exact same thing as you. Hey kitty, no.
What is that?
It's a straw. She at least she's not
Sorry.
playing with the cords.
Not like a tangible action step, so it's not something
I thought the
ethereal.
same thing that you said, which is today specifically, I struggled a lot with like the kids were overstimulating me, like a lot of screaming, a lot of fighting, a lot of like loud running around the house, and then like crying when they would hurt each other. And I was like, I had a couple moments today where I just wanted to like sit down and plug my ears. Because I was like, I cannot even acknowledge the noises happening because I'm so overwhelmed by it. And it was like going on. So how could I be better tomorrow?
If someone knows, please let us know.
Put it in the comments.
How can you add more patience? You know, I think a big part of it is one thing I can be better is finding the moments of quiet. Finding the moments of retreat.
Yeah. Starting the day in the quiet. Since you were sick this past week, usually you are gone in the morning. Like you go to the gym, you have your quiet like 2 hours in the morning of quiet of like no kids. And then like you come home and it's like you did the thing that was like self-serving in a good way. Like, you know,
like a walk or someone get out of the house.
Serving your brain space. And then I'm just like in the midst of it. I haven't been taking that time to that alone time. I just like get up and I'm just like.
So that's a tangible thing.
Yeah,
right?
I think a tangible thing. Maybe waking up earlier and having some quiet. What?
Tori says, Alyssa, did we live the same life today?
Did we live the same life? Do you have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl driving you up the wall, Tori? Yes. What did Bobby say before that?
She cracked up.
She says better
Be better at.
for the
The answer is all the dance parties. I don't know if dance parties are the answer.
No, it focuses their energy. I think that's a good suggestion of like
Oh.
when they're like wild running around, it's like, okay, put on the music and then we
That's true.
all get our wiggles out.
You put Who Let the Dogs Out, and then it's like a.
That somehow makes it worse. But yeah. Yeah. Like pick music that doesn't make you crazy and you just it would get out my overstimulation. It focuses them. I think that's pretty good. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah,
I
she
like
said
it.
adding margin
Mm-hmm.
and dance parties.
Adding margin and dance parties.
Yes.
That's how I'll be better tomorrow. I'll do both of those things tomorrow.
Yes.
Done.
Attainable
Excellent.
goals.
Attainable. Action step.
Now,
Better tomorrow.
What's if you guys have tidbits? We have great people on right now. We have Bobby and Tori, and they're phenomenal wise
women.
Wise women. In the moment you lose your patience, what do you do? Like, what's a tactic? What's maybe a saying or something that you know you're about to explode, or you have exploded, or you're getting to that point where it's like, I can't. Like, my thing is, I can't stand when the kids don't listen to you. And so nothing gets me more amped up. And then when the kids talk back to you or they say something to you, and I want to go over there and love them very well.
What is that in you? What is that flaw in you that you get so triggered and angry when you see the kids being disrespectful to me? Like that, because your anger is a you problem, right? It's not a them problem. But like, what does that come from?
Yeah. Because if you're not happy, I'm not happy.
But I wouldn't say I'm not happy.
But like that idea, not like happy. If it's causing you distress, I feel like my presence.
I don't know that it is. Because I'm with them. Here's the thing. This is another side note. I'm with the kids all day. And so I'm used to like, slow down. They might be telling me no, being disrespectful, whatever. And I will be like, come over here. Let's try this again. Come and talk to me.
Yeah.
And as soon as they are disrespectful to me in front of you, it's like, like it's one of those funny things where it's like, you've been here 5 minutes. Why are you angry? Like, yeah, I've been here all day.
No,
you cannot just like get angry the second that they disrespect
Absolutely.
me. Like, it's like something that I'm like, I've already been doing this all day long, you know? So I don't know. Maybe you just want that immediate thing.
Yeah.
But
okay,
wait, you got to scroll up a little bit because
No.
Bobby said
Taylor Swift.
She said put on Taylor Swift
for Riley, and the boys would probably work out.
Oh, the boys love her.
Tori says they like the song Emmanuel by Ty Tribbett, and then she says Bobby's saying these things.
What did she say?
Okay, let's see. She has some tips. Here's some tips.
I step back, I pray, I time out myself, and then I come back to respond. I've done that. And I've told you to do that. I've either said to them, Mommy needs a timeout, or I've told you, why don't you go take a second? That's a phrase that I probably say to you. I would say like, I don't. It does not that it's super often.
Not often.
Not enough where I could quantify like, oh, every 2 weeks. But like I when I see you, usually in the moment I could be like, whoa, and you immediately can come back down. But there's been rare times where I say, you need to go take a second, because me saying the like whoa isn't calming you back down.
Mm-hmm.
But we're all just a bunch of overstimulated sinners. What
and
else?
I think Bobby says that well. I'm not perfect at it. I'm always working on it. I need Jesus.
Amen.
And I think that's the key thing, is that's part of the sanctification process, or becoming like Christ, is that every day My wife is to grow me. My children are to grow me, and
Mhm.
I need to make sure I put in the work though to make sure that I'm tapped up, filled up. Because like you said, that anger is within me. That impatience is within me that I need to work through and say like, why is that drawing out this emotion out of me? And is it that big of a deal if they're screaming? Is it that big of a deal if they're saying?
Well,
Now
I
it's a
mean,
bigger deal if they disrespect you.
that's
That's
what
a
you get
whole
upset
thing.
about. You get
Yeah.
upset when you feel like they are telling me no, they're not listening, they're
Yeah.
being disrespectful, which is like probably just a perspective shift in general for us to be like, we can't always expect immediate obedience,
I want immediate
but we both
obedience.
want that. And I would say that immediate obedience is biblical. Like that's something that God wants from us,
Yeah.
right? And so we want to teach that to our kids to trust us, but it just does take patience and time.
Bobby, Judah feels like he's a teenager sometimes.
What
the
did
way
she
he talks.
say?
He says, "I'll take wait till you're 12 years old." She says, "I'll take 2 to 7 years old any day."
Dude, I'm not even ready. I'm not even ready at all. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I have like actual talker backers. I don't know.
Yes.
Don't rush me. I'm enjoying the mostly toddlers. Well, I mean, River's 5 now, but like
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the young stages.
Tori has a statement.
All right,
here.
what does Tori say?
It says,
You're right. The younger kids are easier as far as like you're literally just teaching them impulse control as children. But then when they get older to those preteen years, it is so much more complex what you're teaching them. Like even when I'm wrong and the child is right, you still have to be respectful.
Yeah.
So Tori says, I'm way more easily triggered than Andrew. I feel like I take my kids' behaviors more personally, and he can see it more objectively and offer a consequence steadily. Yeah, I'd say that tracks. That totally tracks. It's really hard not to take everything my kids do personally as a mom. And if they make a mistake out in the world, I'm like, that's a reflection on me and my parenting and my being a mom to them. And I didn't teach them enough. Like, if they're the only one doing that, like, I'm the one that made the mistake in parenting. Like, and it's the same thing. Like, if they disrespect me at home, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, my mind can go to like, they don't appreciate me. They don't love me. Like, it can go in that spiral pretty easily. Whereas, like she's saying, like Andrew, like I think typically husbands are more able to be like, this is what's happening. This is how it goes. This is how it's meant to be. Here's what you do this. The consequence is this. Like plain and simple.
Yeah. Well, because I feel like the more consistent you are with that is better results down the line. But that's not always true. But
I think every situation is different. It
Everyone's-
depends what the crime is, right? It depends on what
Yeah,
the heart
and that's-
issue is.
well, that's the biggest
the heart
thing.
issue underlying what the actual like misdemeanor was.
Well,
right?
and then also making sure that whatever is, what I'm learning is whatever discipline is worthy of it, it's equal. It's not like I was so easy to say, all right, you're not listening, go to your room. Rather than, no, that doesn't solve anything. He needs to
Right.
get
And
the
that's
task done.
I mean, that's something that I've also been working on. I shared that with somebody recently that I think that with our, with first kid, we didn't know what we were doing. We still don't fully know, but we didn't know what we were doing as much. We were like, okay, how do we get results? How do we get what we're looking for? How do we get that obedience? And how do we get like the listening and the doing what we're saying? And it was less about like what's the underlying heart issue here. And I think that the more that I have read and studied, and the more that you and I have talked, and the more we've like talked to other parents, and like I've done reading and stuff, the more that I feel like, okay, it's okay if we don't get immediate obedience every time if we are addressing something that's underlying and deeper. Hold on. No children on the pod, please. So yeah, it's like we have to just like I think that I was a lot harder on Judah when he was younger, but then like with these these other kids now, I'm more like, okay, I can see I'm making changes with Judah now and like implementing that with the younger kids where I'm like, there's the misbehaviors are symptoms of something else, obviously, which that's so obvious to people now, but it's hard in the moment to address that and to acknowledge it. So
Bobby says, I see you in that, and Alyssa. You used to be like that. Now I'm working on shepherding our kids of our hearts.
Wait, can you go back up?
Where?
I feel like there's a few comments I missed.
No.
Oh, what was that one?
Listen and obey.
Listen and obey. That is a phrase we use in our house a lot. Listen and obey. Which I think I heard from Bobby the first time. I think I used to say, well, I learned from a parenting podcast.
Listen, obey, right away, all the way.
Right. I learned right. Obedience is right away, all the way, with a happy heart.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, it's their choice.
Yeah.
Are you going to choose to obey or choose to disobey? And I ask them that still. I'm saying, are you choosing to obey or are you choosing to disobey? And
having the right words makes all the difference.
It makes a huge difference because then they see that, oh, it's my choice.
Yeah.
And if I have a consequence, oh, that's what I was going to say earlier, is that like what we do now is, instead of being like, you disobeyed, go to your room, or you disobeyed, go to a timeout, we try to have whatever the consequence is needs to mirror and solve whatever misbehavior was happening or whatever thing was happening. So like, you know, Joni or whoever throws the food on the floor, the consequence is you're going to get the broom and you're going to sweep it up, right? And whatever else, that's your dinner, like whatever. Not just like go to a timeout. It's like, well, the mess still needs to be cleaned, you know? So yeah. What's the next one?
Wait, so Bobby said, and then you get on your hands and knees with a kid like JR. Okay.
So true.
Ooh. Okay. Tori has a question.
Wait, I'm going to read it a little closer.
I'll bring it up. There.
I was reading Bobby's comment. It says, show up with my hands wide open. Okay, Tori says, amen, Bobby. So true. What does Tori say?
Read it.
Finishing the coffee. Okay. Don't worry, everyone. It's decaf. I'm not crazy. Question. What was a funny consequence in your family growing up? I don't know if we grew up in families that had funny consequences.
Real talk. We
Jeremiah
didn't.
And I grew up in families. There was no laughing. No, I know what she means. There's something like odd, weird.
I can think about one time where my brother got punished. It was hilarious. It was my mom used to, if we said bad words, she would like want to put Tabasco sauce or whatever in her mouth.
Yeah.
And I remember one time my brother said like something. I don't remember the whole thing, but my mom just went off in a way that she's like, all right, you're going to get it. And she got the Tabasco sauce and he kept fighting her. And so she was just like dubbing it.
Oh no.
And like got it in his eye. And
Oh
it was like the worst.
Wait, this is
Robert Aaron.
Oh, your younger brother.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
How'd that work out? I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
That's all.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Did he learn?
I don't know if he
I don't
learned
know.
or not.
Funny, like, okay, maybe Bobby can think of a funny consequence from when you guys were kids. We miss you too, Bobby. We love you.
I don't think Bobby had any funny consequences either.
Yeah, probably not. No, but it's not funny. Like she's saying like
ridiculous consequences.
Or just like for example, I remember one time that like I got very sternly spoken to about leaving the cereal box open. Like, and that's not a funny consequence. It's just like what I think is a silly thing to be like upset with kids about. It's like, and I had never previously been told like, hey, when you're done with the cereal, you know, you crinkle up the bag so it doesn't go stale. It was just like this one day I poured myself cereal and I left the box open and my parent was like, why would you leave the cereal box open? It's all going to be stale. And I had never known that. And it was very harsh feeling, harsh enough that I remember it now that I'm 33. What did she say? Yes, like odd. We had to pull saplings for consequences because we lived in an avocado grove. I remember you telling me that story, and I think that that's great. I think that pulling weeds and just being outside and having outside labor is so good for kids.
Bobby says,
I wasn't allowed to go to my Christian club at school because I was doing too many Jesus things. She's trying to like convert your parents. They're like, stop praying over us.
No, I think it was odd to our family.
Like I remember,
don't
I think the pulling weeds thing, I think that is like, maybe because I heard it from Tori long ago, I'm like, oh, that sounds like a great idea. Like,
Deep
go
wound.
pull weeds.
Look,
Yeah.
Tori's a deep wound for you.
I know. Like, I'm just saying the cereal box thing. But like, I can remember things that I got in trouble for where I was like, why would you yell at a kid for that? But not that it was like, the consequence
I know
itself was funny.
We had no like my consequences are like spank.
Yeah.
Like there was never like
Yeah.
this is a clever way.
It was like, but for us, it was
sit
like,
on your hands.
yeah.
For a whole...
Ooh, I have one.
Okay.
Okay.
The trauma's coming back up.
It's coming back. I just had to like work at it. I had to like open wounds that I had previously closed. I had to like dig deep under in the cellars of my mind. Don't worry, it's all fresh again. So I had a babysitter as a kid. Couple things. I had two different babysitters. One of them, she used to whack my knuckles with a wooden spoon.
That's not.
But over the most minuscule, silliest things. Like, and I was very young. I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I remember this very clearly.
I've never heard this story.
Yes, I could have sworn. Like, there were, like, one time it was like they had a patio, and there were like, fall leaves like all over the patio, and I was like brushing leaves off, and the leaves were falling down to like the pavement below.
Yeah.
And I got my knuckles
whacked
with a wooden spoon for that.
We're looking for funny stories.
And then
that's not
and
funny.
then I had another babysitter who whenever I would like talk back or disobey or whatever, I probably deserved, I probably was having a mouth, but she would make me stand in the corner on my tiptoes.
Ah, there you go.
And I couldn't put my feet down.
See, that's a good one.
But this is the thing. I don't remember what I did. Like, it's not like looking back on it where I'm like, man, that tiptoe punishment in the corner just really made me feel like, oh, I'll never do that again. I totally understand what I did wrong. Yeah. No, I just remember having to stand on my tiptoes. I don't remember what I did. I don't remember learning a lesson.
I think we should use the saying that Tori's saying.
What is Tori saying?
We're lifting the rug tonight. I like that. We're gonna really dust up in here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, nope, don't have any.
Yeah, no, all of our stories are just like, yeah, I got spanked for everything.
The adage goes,
spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yeah,
people take that way too far.
We need to switch topics.
But
we have healed from those moments in our lives, and we sometimes deserved it, sometimes we didn't. I can tell you about nightmare stories that the thing is, I love my parents. They're wonderful. They did everything they can.
but
I would say no, but they would like they said, you don't know how good you got it.
Yeah.
Compared to what they went through.
Which is 100% true.
Like back in the day, people use like irons and
no,
things
yeah.
and hangers and stuff
fully like the childhood my mom had, like the childhood my dad had, like even my step parents, the stories they would tell me, like it is very true. Like
they're not pulling saplings, they're pulling switches. All right.
Yeah, like we had it so much better, which I've said this before on this podcast. I think that, every generation is hopefully just doing a little bit better than what their parents did, but it's not going to be this like mega jump. It's like, what was the phrase I heard one time online was like, I broke the cycles that I could.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom broke as many cycles as she could. And her mom broke as many cycles as she could. So it's like, you just do your best. You just do your best. You're not going to be able to cure every single problem with parenting and discipline that you possibly could. Like, you just are going to do what you can. And even if you only broke 1 or 2 cycles from your parents, like, that's still success. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
And with that, what did she say?
I was meaning to steer the conversation to a more lighthearted one, but
Tori.
Alas.
Tori made us go. Don't worry, Tori. When we go camping, we'll share campfire stories that could never be spoken online.
And then Bobby says, breaking generational chains.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Like you just do what you can. And I think that all of us, hopefully most majority of parents today are just trying to just do a little bit better than their parents,
Absolutely.
because every generation is going to learn more and more. They're going to have more studies at their disposal. They're going to have more books that come out, more things that have more information. Like we're all just going to do our best.
And I think one funny story though, like I remember Dad telling me was that he got caught smoking, and then his dad made him smoke a whole pack of cigarettes.
I remember that story.
Yeah.
He made him smoke them all. Didn't he throw
Yeah,
up?
he threw up.
Yeah. And then did he smoke after that?
Smoke after that.
Yeah.
At least cigarettes.
Yikes. Can you imagine? Judah, smoked a cigarette now.
Smoke it. Another one.
Jeez. Hey, the stories of our fathers.
Yes.
Bro. Okay. Here's my question.
Okay.
What did she say? Yeah, do we land it there?
Oh, it's 9:20.
Do we need?
Right? It's been 40, 50 minutes.
It's been 50 minutes. Do we even need to go? Let's save. I have this other topic.
Yes.
Let's save it for next Tuesday.
Let's save it for next Tuesday.
Should I give a teaser?
What's the teaser?
The teaser for next Tuesday. Hopefully Tori can tune in because Tori is about to be able to weigh in on this topic. It's renting versus owning homes, home-wise, and also a little backstory of the many, many homes the Trujillos have dwelt. Rooms, apartments, and what we would call a home, because we're together.
Yes.
Home is with you, baby.
Home is where we are
together.
Together.
That's the little teaser story of what's happening next week in our deep thoughts and discussions.
Yeah, and we're getting back to this, so we'll slowly but surely get the train running.
Hopefully next Tuesday. If
Absolutely.
Jeremiah doesn't catch the man flu, which I hear is just rampant these times in these parts.
Everyone's getting it.
And if all goes according to plan. But I loved this discussion. Love it.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank
for
you, Bobby.
Q&A
Thank you, Tori. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Tori.
Yeah.
And
I think that's just
so fun. Love you. Love you all.
Oh, fun talking.
Yes. Adios, amigas. And we'll see you guys next time. Yay. Tiny chair, unscripted family. Tiny chair.